but there was some things that worked okay. I mean, Fatal Ghost being alone on the left-hand side, even as Artemis, he got a decent size, you know, advantage. They're really stuck even with Transonics for the most part. You can trust to put him on those late-game hyper carries. Just a matter of the right side. I don't think we're going to see Young Homie on Ymir again.
I mean, I don't think that was necessarily the issue with the immobile Guardian on Young Homie. The fact of the matter was they were just all out of position, and too many times my guys just kept collapsing on everybody that was just out there.
It's tough to fight into that whenever you're losing the right side of your jungle pretty consistently, like Era Eternity was. Khepri going to be the first pick here for Clow in the support role, trying to take it away from Brochacho. He did such a great job of giving pressure in the mid lane to Covey, keeping that very vulnerable Habwa safe in the early stages of the game. But Susano is going to be the pick for Chaotic Purpose. It really just seems to be, if you leave Susano open, we'll take Susano. If you take Susano or Bandit, we'll take like a Willish or Thor. And then we're just going to have pressure no matter what we pick.
You don't really necessarily want to just ban out Chaotic Purpose. You just have to worry about your own game plan and whatever's going to stop your game plan. It's more about denying the typical gods. So, for example, if you're going to build healing, make sure they don't have any anti-healing. So those are the options. And you want to make sure that you're a very tanky team here against my guys that loves to play aggressive, already having the Khepri with the Rising Dawn, as well as the Kabrakan's passive aura mitigating a lot of damage.
I like this draft from Era Eternity already. You've got pressure in the duo lane with Khepri and Izanami, wherever Kabrakan ends up, whether it be jungle or solo. Excellent clear early on, and as well as that frontline capability that Era Eternity never really had last game, never got a chance to really get it going. Couple jungle bans there for my guys. They believe that Kabrakan is going to be in the solo lane there for the Young Homie, and Ares taken away from Brochacho, one of his signature gods. Kukulkan going to be the selection for Covey. We haven't seen this god in a while, Toli, but it does have good level 1 clear and can really take advantage of these jungle fights that my guys' composition seems to excel at.
These jungle fights is what's going to make or break it from my guys. With the Ymir wall dissecting so many people for Era Eternity, that Tornado is going to just decide the outcome here for my guys. And I like the fact that they have, you know, enough confidence with that one-game victory to go into this Kukulkan pick.
Wow, Naja. I think that's Naja support.
Really?
It's Brochacho, right? Like,
that's true.
He's the original Naja. He's the original Naja support, and I don't really see Wolves playing the Susano in solo. Maybe he does. Interesting composition here from my guys. Either way, I love that the Naja Kukulkan ultimates work really well together.
That's true.
I mean, you could really look for that synergy. Era Eternity, on the other hand, they've gone for the Valen Squadron sort of composition, the triple Guardian, double Hunter. I love it. I mean, it's worked on the PC side. Time to try and bring it over
to the
console.
You were absolutely 100% undoubtedly right. El Brochacho is indeed playing the Naja support. This is something we haven't really seen out of him maybe in like 2 years.
Yeah, it's been quite some time, but he loves these unconventional picks that are going to try and make it happen. And it's Scotty in the mid lane here. It looks like it was not the Jingwei that we initially saw. Axe was off the mark, but was it really? I mean, truancy beads.
He got the beads.
So it hit.
Axe successful.
That's all that matters. Did I get the beads? Yes, my axe hit.
He asked them a question.
And Truancy answered with a relic, with the beads right away. So there's Naja support, like I mentioned. I think the thought process here for Brochacho is that the setup with a wombo combo potential between himself and Covey on this Kukulkan, but it's also just bringing early pressure, right? I mean, you're allowed to go Bluestone Pendant, can really help out with the jungle clear. He's also gone for Bumba's Mask, so you know that he's going to be looking to clear out this jungle pretty quickly.
It's all about the setup like you mentioned before. You don't have to go this offensive Naja. If you have a Kukulkan that's waiting underneath Chaotic Purpose, though, taking a lot of damage from the Tremors. And like you mentioned before, El Brochacho playing this Naja, he's going to be very tanky on the support more than likely, and he's just going to basically have a lot of hang time, basically allowing Covey to find anybody.
I think that Brochacho is going to kind of flex it with whatever he wants to build here. If he gets an early lead, we may see him go into a Warrior Tabi, trying to get a little bit of extra damage. If he falls behind or is even, especially up against a triple Guardian composition like this, Reinforced Greaves would work wonders up against that amount of CC that Era Eternity is going to have. So he's got a couple options here on this assassin in the support role. Like I mentioned, if there's anyone who could play the assassin support, it's Brochacho, but he's in trouble on this left-hand side. No mobility for Naja. There's the big slow coming out of that spectral projection. Brochacho forced to use the meditation. Clow and Fatal Ghost trying to chase him down, but Transonics is there with the help courtesy of the axe, and Brochacho forced to use his meditation, but he's A-okay.
Had Cloud taken one further step under that tier 2 tower, Transsonic's axe and the Naja sash from Brochacho would have secured maybe 2 more tier 2 tower hits, would have found a first blood onto Cloud. Level 3 Khepri can't survive that long against a tier 2 tower.
Marsleezy and Young Homie with pressure on this right-hand side until a nice double freeze there from Wolves. Gonna put a little bit more of return onto the blue squad. I love the auto attack sound on that skin. Just like the violin or the cello or whatever. Yeah, it's obviously not a violin because the violins are tiny. But it was just the first string instrument that came to mind. I just love the sound of it.
I used to play a cello in high school.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why don't you play it anymore? You could
because I can't hold it the same way Ymir does.
Totally. You just go to the gym, you get swole,
I'm trying, man.
and then you throw a cello around like it's a little violin. That's what we should do. Yo, you could pull off a suit like Ymir is wearing in that skin, and then we get you like a violin or a viola.
And I can cosplay as Ymir.
As Baron Frostchild Ymir.
But then we need the whole casting crew to be fancy as well. So somebody has to be.
Which fancy skin would I be?
Oh, truancy though, the dots from Chaotic Purpose.
Don't try and get out of this, Toli. Which fancy skin would I be?
All right, so we have Fenrir, right? There's On Her as well.
Yep.
What else is there?
Kukulkan.
There's one more, right?
Fenrir, there's usually one in every role, right? So is there a warrior one yet? I don't think so. I think there's only 4.
Okay. I mean, it would obviously be Kukulkan.
All right.
You're a mid-mage.
Sir Penceworth the 4th, I believe the name of that skin is.
Obviously, Tom would be Fenrir. He loves dogs.
It's true. Yeah, Tom would definitely be Fenrir.
And then it's between Taco and Hindu Man is who's going to fight for the On Her.
Well, he does kind of like all these fancy skins kind of have that British feel to them because British, you know, the snooty sort of thing. It's Chaotic Purpose here, going to get rooted out on the right-hand side. Force uses Purification. Wolves actually might be in some trouble. Like the decision to use Shards of Ice, but Clow may have that abduct soon. Great wall there from Wolves that actually hurts him. I thought it was on the other team. It hurt him so badly. The Tremors are good, but the Typhoon is better from Chaotic Purpose, getting his solo laner out of danger.
Clow off the mark with the abduct yet again. Not able to respond with any kills of their own. Is their eternity so far. 4 minutes in, though. They've been doing a decent job in the dual lane in terms of invading the purple-red buff while theirs got invaded. Ooh. Okay,
still got it.
Yeah, I thought the ultimate stole it for a second, but yet again, though, now Fatal Ghost is going to have to go back into the lane without an ult.
Fatal Ghost actually dashes in. If my guys recognize this, he could be in a lot of trouble, but Clout is here. There's a Scarab's Blessing a little bit early just to give Fatal Ghost some extra movement speed. Brochacho only level 4, not going to be able to use that ultimate. Fatal Ghost is able to pick him up. Transonics is going to be next, but he trades him out and then jumps away.
The ultimate off the mark from Kobe, trying to bait into that, but the tornado bought a little bit of time. Cloud is ticking away. He's going to survive a little bit longer, though. The rotation from Truancy finds the mid-mage as well.
Just a little bit too greedy there for my guys. Transonics, I think, may have been out if he just keeps running after the jump, but instead turns around, tries to bait for the ultimate for Covey. Unfortunately, not able to find a home with that, and then he ends up falling to the ultimate from Scotty.
That could have been a really good highlight play had both of them gotten hit by Spirit of the 9 Winds, and then the tornado on top of it, and then all of a sudden this 10% health Uller on Transonics just turns it around. Oof.
You're like,
that's the plays he goes for.
You're like a movie director right now. You're like, okay, you two line up, you get hit by Spirit of the 9 Winds, and then Transonics, we slow pan from the low health Uller to look over his shoulder as both get crushed by the big dragon.
And then he just turns around and does a fadeaway hail of arrows to secure the double kill.
And then as they die, he turns away because cool guys
don't look at explosions.
They sure don't. My guys, not off to the start that they were in game 1, though. Down 3-2 in kills, Era Eternity. Definitely looking much stronger with this composition due to the pressure that's been given to them. Brochacho up with Fatal Ghost. Transonics is waiting for him when he gets down. There's the damage from the axe. Fatal Ghost not going to be able to stay in stealth due to the Bluestone Pendant from Transonics, but just not quite enough damage between the two to bring down the enemy hunter.
Chaotic Purposes here as well. He's definitely looking for the dive. Gonna find the pole onto Cloud. Dashes away. Kobe not gonna have his Kobe impersonation, but Transonics finds the cleanup kill. He's trying to get away from the ultimate from Cabrakan, and with that speed buff that he got from the steroid, successfully does so.
Chaotic Purpose still has that ultimate available. Marsleezy gonna eat that damage. There's the knockup from the Typhoon and pulled back in immediately. Marsleezy, the Aegis is good, but not good enough as Transonics finds one more with that bladed arrow, making it happen on this Uller. 3-1-1 at the 6-minute mark.
And just Just like that, my guys get 3 kills unanswered at the flick of a switch. They're doing such a good job just sticking together. They baited themselves out a little bit longer, and the rotations from Brochacho, the base damage alone with the ring bounces at this point in the game is high enough to really win these 2v2 skirmishes despite going for the Talaria boots.
Yeah, really looking to boost his gold gain with this Talaria boots. And it makes sense because he's got excellent poke damage from a distance with that ring toss. It's going to be able to get those Talaria procs fairly easily. Wolves on this right-hand side, out of mana, hurts himself. Congratulations, Wolves. You just played yourself, but a great two-man pull from Chaotic Purpose may help out his solo laner enough, but with Truancy's rotation and the fact that he's locked in from Marsleazy's ultimate, Wolves is going to pay for that invade on the right-hand side. And a little bit of a tumble there for the solo laner, though still ahead of the young homie.
Still is going to have the teleport available once he respawns to get back to the wave. He'll have his own blue buff respawning momentarily in about 30 seconds or so. Brochacho finding one in the sky. Kobe's waiting for him, throws out the spirit. Gonna find the young homie, but he'll be fine as he runs away with the ultimate from Cloud, but it fades away.
Transonics is here and he's looking for him. Cloud's actually be the first to fall. Truancy with a nice root courtesy of that ultimate to make sure that the young homie rather would not fall to any further aggression there from my guys. The rest of the red squad now turning their attentions to the speed buff as they got what they came for on that right-hand side, a kill onto Cloud. Meanwhile, Fatal Ghost deciding to stick in his lane, doesn't want to participate quite yet early game, wants to make sure that he can get as much gold for his team as possible. 500 going the way of Era Eternity as the duo lane tier 1 falls.
That's a huge boost of gold for Era Eternity. They've been trying to split push the last game the whole entire time, and the lead that my guys had initially didn't allow them to do so, but this time sticking to what he does best as a hunter. You just want to stay in the lane and get those power spike items as long as possible. By not rotating, you're actually not hurting your team in these team fights. You're getting them ahead as long as you can get these objectives.
My guys push down that solo tier 1 tower right there after that little engagement. So Covey comes over to check on the Gold Fury. Surprise, surprise, Era Eternity was on it. And the presence of the mid laner is able to knock them off, make sure that that gold lead doesn't go in there. Brochacho going to be in some trouble here. He's plucked back in, locked in by Marsleazy as well, and Truancy able to pick up the support assassin. That's where you see the Naja support not work out.
Absolutely,
so well.
Especially not having the ultimate that could still be used defensively. It was still on cooldown for Brochacho during the route. He could have looked for that 180 ultimate, but not timely enough for his favor. And this is the point in time where Naja supports needs to be very mindful about their positioning. Getting caught out of position like that, especially against Cabrakan, it's going to allow Era Eternity to keep the game relatively close. And if we go into the mid to late game, the team fights will definitely favor Era Eternity. They have more control between this Cabrakan, Xing Chen, and Khepri.
Transonics taking the boxing fight here on the left-hand side. Doesn't realize that Cloud's coming right behind him. Now he knows what's going on. Silence. No purification beads, though, from Transonics. Nice patience from him, understanding exactly how much damage he could take without any sort of pressure.
Cloud didn't really space out his CCs at all. He used all his abilities in the sequence of about 1.5 seconds. He could have looked for the root initially, wait for the jump, and then look for the abduct after that point in time. And Fatal Ghost could have looked for some more poke during the root, and that could have been a chain CC of about 2.5 seconds instead. Nice beads avoiding the ult.
Gets out of that ultimate there from Brochacho, but Brochacho's willing to trade his ultimate for a set of purification beads any day of the week, just using that ultimate to set up for the team like we mentioned earlier on. Even when we saw Brochacho get picked on bottom left-hand Harpies, I think he got 3 Talaria procs, and it might be worth your death to get 90 gold.
That's not a bad call, actually, especially at level 8. Brochacho running around, trying to bait for a little bit longer. Kobe's looking to aim and line up the ultimate. He's trying to get behind it. Typhoon knocks him up, but the rotation from Fatal Ghost confirms the support from my guys.
Shout outs to Spectral Projection, able to pick that one up onto Naja, the support player. Covey had a nice ultimate there from Spear of the Nine Winds. Got Clow and Marsleazy pretty low. Chaotic Purpose around the backside. Immediately eats that Dark Portal, though. He's in danger. Forced to use his Purification Beads and dash away, but he does get out that Scarab's Blessing from Clow, who now runs face first into the wall. Wolves is here, and Clow, nowhere for him to go. Covey gonna be able to pick up his first kill of the game. Transonic still trying to chase down Marsleazy. The combo is picture perfect for the Hunter, and Transonic's able to pick up his 4th kill early on.
Hey, I directed that one.
That was it.
Yeah, that was right there. He
knew he was motion axe.
Yeah, he knew he was gonna get stunned, so he uses the beads.
Yep.
He even makes sure that he's gonna guarantee himself some more enhance by switching to the axe stance, getting more lifesteal as well, and then goes to the Gold Fury.
Beautiful, a beautiful film yet again, Tully. Masterful work as always, my friend. And Transonics, always great in the lead role. Oscar-worthy.
Absolutely.
In my mind. Young Omi over here on the left-hand side, just trying to get a little bit of much-needed farm. Still 2 levels behind Wolves, despite Wolves taking a tumble in that lane earlier on due to the help from the rest of Era Eternity, who have definitely shown a little bit of fight back here compared to Game 1, but still not quite enough to continue to lead over my guys, even at the 12-minute mark.
At this point in time, Era Eternity were about 6,000 to 8,000 gold behind in the first game, but at the 12-minute mark here, they're only down about 3,000 gold, which is not insurmountable. As if you look at their team composition, they're still in a good spot to be able to drag this on and have more control in these jungle fights.
Brochacho on the Naja support, a little bit behind Clow. Both have the same scoreline, though, 0, 3, and 5, both level 9. Both have gone for the Mark of the Vanguard as well after completing the boots, though Brochacho being at this stage in the build, it means that he's a little bit ahead because he did pick up that Bumba's mask, and you can see he is he's doing a decent amount of damage as well. A little bit higher than Truancy even on the side of Era Eternity. Off the mark that time with the Windfire wheels. The Typhoon gonna knock up Truancy. He's very low. Wolves, he's here, but a nice Scarab's Blessing. Gonna save Truancy for now until Wolves blows him up with that Shards of Ice. Wolves may pay for it with his life, and he will. Marsleazy getting very low. Nice double stun, but the Whirlwind still enough from Kofi. 2 for 1 in favor of my guys.
My guys playing off of each other so well, and that team fight lasted long enough for Kofi to get off multiple abilities there. That Tornado just taken away. And this is a team fight that should have favored Era Eternity, considering it was in the middle of the wave. Nice disengage here, but the pull back from Chaotic Purpose, diving that tier 1 tower, included by Transonics, just for good measure, getting another objective under the board. This is the point in time that my guys is going to start snowballing a little bit with these objectives. The respawn timers are going to be a little bit longer.
And they're having a lot of power spikes right now in terms of items. Hydra's Lament, all done for Chaotic Purpose. You can see the Pythags piece done for Kobe. Can add a little bit of lifesteal and power to his entire team now in Season 4, not just the additional magical gods. Transonics has that Aussie as well as Transonics. It is Transcendence. Transonics with the Transcendence, still fully stacked.
I hate that. Every time I call that, I'm like, which one do I say first? Oh, yes, that's right. The player
Transcendence,
first.
Transonics. Both do damage. That's really the story at the end of the day. Transonics top of the player damage charts right now.
Well, thankfully, we don't have a player named Transcendence, but on the left-hand side, Fatal Ghost, despite being 2 levels behind, still confident enough to take this little trade here with the Fatalis, having a lot of mobility, can still utilize it with the wave. But Transonics is not deterred, winning this exchange very heavily. And even Marsleazy is here. They're going to have to retreat with El Brochacho right around the corner.
Great sash in from Brochacho. Transonics is still looking for the kill on a Fatal Ghost, though, not even helping out his support. Looking for the freeze off the mark there from Wolves. Clow does have the ultimate, but not enough mana, but it doesn't matter because Fatal Ghost able to turn it around onto Transonics. Shards of Ice immune beautifully by that Aegis. Wolves still trying to find the enemy hunter. Fatal Ghost somehow lives, still alive, throwing out those auto attacks. Fatal Ghost is out. Don't know if I can say the same for the rest of Era Eternity as Kobe shows up.
Oh, the damage from the Tornado doing a lot. The ultimate from Marsleazy trying to proc off the Khepri ultimate, but it's not in time. It just faded away.
So unfortunate there for the jungler. Wolves is here. Cloud dash forward, finds a good route. Young Homie able to pick up Brochacho with his rotation. Low on mana and HP. One smack from that cello is enough to put Young Homie in the ground for the second time this game. Another perfect wall from Wolves kills Truancy once more. 3 deaths for the mid laner. Cloud gonna be next. That cello's all bloody after this engagement on the left-hand side. Wolves with 3 kills.
I would say 4 for 2. Transonics now reviving off of that back of that team fight. Great play and rotation from Wolves. He bought enough time to be able to dodge into the jungle where Kobe was waiting with Spirit of the Nine Wind. Now, it didn't do that much damage with his ultimate, but it was good enough to knock up a few members and zone away the rest of them to allow this Ymir to still make his presence known in this team fight. He baited out the Aegis as well. He managed to wall off Truancy, nowhere to go. Kobe got easy damage confirmed with a gust onto Truancy. This is the kind of plays you want to be making if you're my guys. And the fact of the matter is, if they're winning these team fights in the lane where their abilities are, more circle oriented, trying to cut off corridors between the Ymir wall and the Kukulkan. Imagine how they're going to transition these team fights from the lane to the jungle, though.
Where it's even stronger, as well as everyone grouping up for that ring toss from Brochacho. Love the idea there, but can't quite find the ultimate. The Windfire Wheel's not quite on the mark. There on a Fatal Ghost, who also deserves quite a bit of credit, somehow staying alive in the middle of that team fight. Cloud didn't have enough mana to ult him, so he had to do it all on his own. And the rookie Hunter did just that, was able to escape with his life, but doesn't have a whole lot of power in that build. I mean, you got some penetration from the Fatalis, tons of attack speed between the Ichabal and the Fatalis, but not a whole lot of power there.
No, not at all, but he has a lot of mobility, which is why he survived initially in that encounter. Young homie gonna pull Wolves back into the tier 2 tower, but it's not something that he really wants to do, considering Transonics is on the other side, and now he's gonna be pinched in here.
Yeah, you may have heard of this before. Wolves is the rock and Transonics is the hard place, and Young Homie doesn't really have anywhere to go. Luckily for him, my guys, they're content to try and get the tower. Meanwhile, they stole away the Gold Fury on the left-hand side. Truancy gonna get eaten up by Chaotic Purpose. No problem for him. Brochacho doesn't have that ultimate, trying to juke around that Gold Fury pit, but the zone control from Covey is good enough to get the support out of danger.
My guys is winning on the right, they're winning on the left, they're getting the tier 2 tower, they got the Gold Fury stolen away, they're gonna kill Cloud, sacrificing Brochacho, but they're gonna pick up Marsleazy.
No problem whatsoever, the 2 kills there. Brochacho's the only one who's fallen for my guys in that engagement. Like you mentioned, my guys won on the right side as well. They knocked down that tier 2 tower with no sort of worries about it. Middle tier 2, that's next on the list. Transonics gonna be able to clean that one up nice and easy. Only 2 towers left standing for Era Eternity.
They got those tier 2 towers between right and mid. They got the Gold Fury. That's 3,000 gold off of the towers, about 2,500 gold at this phase off of the Gold Fury, now extending their lead to beyond 10,000. This is going to be a very similar story here from Game 1 and Game 2. My guys looking very strong, despite having a Naja support.
Yeah, I mean, the 15-minute mark, it's still my guys' favor, but Era's in the game. It's still, you know, we can still win this game. And then all of a sudden, 3 minutes later, my guys up over 10,000 gold, and that's when you start to get really worried about your chances.
I mean, at this point, though, the experience gap, specifically between Wolves and Chaotic Purpose, between their opposing solo and jungler, is a big factor. These team fights are going to start looking very strong for my guys with the damage that you have in the Hydrosol Met, the Heartseeker, the Jotun's Wrath. That's a lot of penetration and mobility on the side of Chaotic Purpose as well. You have Wolves just diving the backline at any time he wants.
2-man wall in the jungle. Shards of Ice going to do a good amount of damage, but Fatal Ghost able to find the escape. Marsleazy, he's in trouble though, getting chased down there by Kobe. Typhoon gonna knock him up, but it's still alive for the time being. Finally, Chaotic Purpose able to find him. Wolves is low, as is Transonics, trying to kite around the only one left in the backside as the Spear of the Nine Winds comes through, hits Clow only. Brochacho can't find the Windfire Wheels. Young Homie's been the one who's keeping all of my guys busy on the backside. But as Clow falls, no one left to distract the rest of the squad. 3 dead. Era Eternity still just don't have the answer for my guys.
They don't even care. They're diving the Phoenix. They're all so low. They don't even have Fire Giant while they're doing this. Chaotic Purpose, he's diving between the middle and the right side. Phoenix using that Aegis to get back into safety. The rest of his team is here, though, sieging it on. Blink from Marsleazy, forcing Transonics out.
He got out, though. Brochacho can't say the same as Marsleazy picks him up with the Tremors and the help of the Phoenix. But now it's only Marsleazy here, and he's only level 13. Freeze.
Goodbye.
Marsleazy never even thaws from that one until Transonics is able to get his 6th kill of the game. 24-11. My guys, 20 minutes in, again, just dominating Era Eternity.
Still a better performance between Game 1 and Game 2,
yes.
Regardless. Era Eternity have made leaps and bounds of improvements in such a short amount of time, so the question remains is if they can still hold out, because I'm still liking their Guardian composition here between the Xing Chen, the Capri, a little bit of damage from the Cabrakan that is a little behind here, or actually a lot behind, level 13 versus 18 on Chaotic Purpose, but my guys, they need to close out the game the same way that they did in the first game, because their team fight presence is just not the same control factor compared to Era Eternity. Now, they do have the damage because of the level, so this is just something that they're going to have to continue to snowball.
Era Eternity, just no answer for Chaotic Purpose, in particular in that jungle. 10, 0, and 10. I know I talk a lot about his Susano play, but it's certainly founded when he's playing like this. Top of the player damage charts as well. Last time we checked in, Marslezi tried to lock down the jungler, but just a little bit too much mobility on the assassin Susano to really be able to lock him down effectively, even with that Cabrakan damage. Brochacho can tend to farm up these oracles as the rest of my guys, namely Transonics, continues to knock down the only few remaining towers. Meanwhile, Wolves and Chaotic Purpose, they're comfortable 2v5ing here in the mid lane, and I can't blame them with the lead they have.
I don't think they're necessarily looking for a fight. They're just positioning themselves for the ward, but Brochacho's looking for a fight. He blinks and misses the ultimate, and now he's caught in a very awkward position, but the Typhoon knocks up 3.
Chaotic Purpose teleported in as well. There's the freeze onto Cloud. Covey still has that Spirit of the Nine Winds ready to go. Fires it off. It hits 3 members. Transonic's able to pick up Cloud underneath the Phoenix, but Trans is falling very low, and Homie's able to pick him up. Chaotic Purpose maybe next. He's going to take a Phoenix shot, and he's dead as well. 3 dead here for my guys. Only Wolves and Covey remaining.
They couldn't close out the game. They really wanted to. They didn't go for the Fire Giant after such a lead that they have. Now they get the 2 towers that were remaining on the left-hand side during that push. The Gold Fury was up as well. Now, they don't necessarily throw away too much of a lead here because the fact that the damage that they've done is going to, and also the fact that the positioning of their deaths was at the Phoenixes of Era Eternity. It doesn't give too much opportunity to go outside their base and take away the Gold Fury, take away the Fire Giant. Wolves is still up.
Gold Fury is available, though my guys do have vision, courtesy of those oracles that Brochacho secured before basically suiciding underneath that middle Phoenix. Over 2 on the skills, and that's just kind of what happens when you play Naja support. You either make all the plays or miss all the plays, and that time around it was a swing and a miss for Brochacho, who hasn't had the best of games, 1 of 7, but or 1 and 7 rather, but still setting up for the team and just being a cooldown absorber, basically.
17 assists on this Naja support. That's the major stat line that I'm looking at. He goes in, he baits out a lot of cooldowns despite blinking in, missing the ultimate, putting himself out of position in that middle Phoenix. The rest of his team could potentially look to clean up, which is why he's been making a big impact despite playing this assassin support. Now the rest of my guys looking to start up this Fire Giant, 50% health. Nobody here from Eternity.
I wonder if Era Eternity knew this Fire Giant was up, because I think you just kind of assume that my guys had that Fire Giant during the last siege. Maybe they don't notice in the heat of battle that they don't have that Fire Giant buff around their waist. Typhoon over the wall. Nice clean play from Chaotic Purpose, KSing the rest of the members of his team. Needs that 11th kill, trying to get towards the dozen.
Not necessarily used there, I would say efficiently.
Yeah, a kill is a kill, totally. It doesn't matter if you use every ultimate for 1 kill. At the end of the day, Brochacho's going to find this Blink ultimate, no problem whatsoever. Spirit of the Nine Winds. It was a little bit too early, though it does hit Truancy on the backside, who was just an innocent bystander to that engagement underneath the right side Phoenix, which does fall very quickly. This time around, my guys do have the Fire Giant buff. It's going to be very, very difficult for Era to fight into this.
Oh, behind is Chaotic Purpose, trying to take Fatal Ghost away from the encounter. Buys enough time for the rest of my guys to get this middle Phoenix. Everybody from Era Eternity shifting on over to the left, trying to hold on to their last remaining Phoenix. But these tornadoes from Covey just dissecting the defense area by half.
Chaotic Purpose finds a solo kill onto Truancy, no problem, even underneath where the Phoenix once stood, trying to get away from Marslezi, and he'll do so successfully. Fatal Ghost has to use the Aegis. The whirlwind is ticking. He will be able to get to his fountain, but all 3 Phoenixes are down. My guys, they don't have any meditations, are a little bit poked out. Could see them back up, or they could just kill Marslezi, who's out of position on the right-hand side. Wolves cutting off the option beautifully. There's the Typhoon, needed that time, and Transonics picks up his 8th. 28 kills for my guys. That could open the door to end this set.
Still have the Fire Giant in all 5. Spirit of the Nine Winds onto 1. Chaotic Purpose finds Fatal Ghost. Wolves is going to die under that fountain there. Cloud getting credited with that kill. But either way, my guys, still a very dominating performance. They won the game in 25 minutes, 1 minute slower than the last.
I mean, my guys,